I'm in a bit of a jam here.
Dude, you're a murder suspect.
Maybe it's even a pickle. On a scale from 1 to 10, how screwed am I?
A million.
You couldn't just say 10? You don't think I'd understand that 10 is bad?
Well, we're gonna make a little time travel because I want you to remember the first time you heard about the book, the Bad Monkey book, and what did you first like about it? Because it's very different from the other projects you have done.
Yeah, it's not what I do normally, right? My family is entrenched in Florida. My cousins and aunts and uncles live there, and they're fishing guides on the St. Johns River. My parents live in Orlando, outside Orlando in Winter Park. So growing up, spending a lot of time there, Carl Hiaasen as a writer is an icon. People love him. So I read his books, even when I was a kid, when I was 15, 16, I loved them. And what I love the most that people don't know about Florida is if you want to talk about a melting pot in America, go to Miami, okay? And New York is like that a little, but Miami, you can't leave your place without running into somebody from the Cuban community or Colombian community or Brazilian community or Eastern European community, and watching everybody bounce off of Bahamians bounce off of each other in Carl's worlds. I love it. And I felt like it was a chance to do the type of show I might write, but with different characters from different worlds, as long as it was authentic, as long as the Cuban coroner Rosa was played by, Natalie Martinez, a young Miami Cuban actress who's so good, and as long as the young Bahamian kid was played by a young Bahamian kid named Ronald, who's from Nassau. So that was the fun for me. It made it a passion project.
Why it took you so long to do something down here?
You know why? By the way, this will freak you out. I loved being there. I loved living and working there. It took me so long. I wrote Bad Monkey 7 years ago, and the way Hollywood, and the way Hollywood works, but I've had so many ups and downs in my career, and I love it. I'm so grateful for all of it. Because even in the downs, when I don't have any reason to get out of my boxers because nothing's going on, get to see my kids more. But I got very lucky that Ted Lasso worked, and so my partners at Apple were nice enough to let me do a passion project that I had wanted to do for years. I haven't been talking about that much, but it's I can't believe that I'm here now talking about it when I first tried to start doing it almost, close to 10 years ago. It's crazy.
It's awesome. It's so good. I've been waiting for everybody to start watching it, to start talking about it more, because it had so much twists and turns. I love it.
Oh, that makes me so happy. It's supposed to be such like a fun kind of, summer movie kind of TV show, and it's the stuff that I used to love to watch. So I hope people dig it. I want Carl to like it because he's such a good guy.
Yeah, Bill, I know that you spoke about ups and downs, but I think that you have 30 years of career and you're still working. So that means that you are successful. But is there something that you've learned over the past 30 years that you use for this project too, that you said?
I'm gonna tell you the answer to that because it's coming out here right now. This is my daughter. She's in the show and she's interrupting your interview because she's done and she's been doing press.
Woo! I've had 11 cups of coffee.
and I really, by the way, I didn't know what I was gonna say, but I was saying if you
that I'm the most important thing in your life.
No, again.
And the reason why you do television.
If you get to work with your friends or family, do it because it's so rewarding and so fun. And I'm so proud of you.
Oh, I love you.
Okay.
I'm so proud of you.
This is my last interview.
He's the best. He's the GOAT. Titan of television.
But I mean it, by the way.
Oh, great interview. Oh, it's lovely to see you again. We already spoke. She's wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Hey, this is my last interview. I'll talk to you right after.
I love you.
Love you, kiddo.
You look handsome.
Thank you. You look pretty. For me, doing a TV show or a movie is like being at Thanksgiving with your family for like 6 months, which means a lot of stress and there's sometimes arguments and all that, but then you might as well do it with people that you would want to spend time with anyway. And so that's my biggest thing is I've learned that if someone behind or in front of the camera is great to be around, some of my shows now, we have people that have worked together for 30 years. It's so fun.
Yeah, it is. And it looks like they have so great chemistry. Even though they don't even like much each other, but they look like they're like family working together.
It's such a great observation because I think if you're doing comedy, the only way it works is these actors and actresses, they have to create chemistry immediately. You know what I mean? And it's like John Ortiz, Rogelio, and Vince have to seem like old friends, even though the way that work started that day was Vince going, "Hey, I'm Vince," and him going, "Hey, I'm John, let's go," you know? And luckily we had the type of set and vibe that people were able to do that.
My last question is about working here in South Florida. How was it for you?
I loved
When
it.
you come back.
I loved it, and I'll come back in a second. You know, it was fascinating because, you know, the only tricky thing was great for the show because, like, when we were working in the Keys, Carl's an environmentalist, Carl Hyacin. So he was very concerned with us not disturbing nature. You know, all of his books have an environmentalist undercurrent, and he was very concerned that we didn't, you know, mess up any of the nature or the animals or the wildlife there, because all of his books have an element about how South Florida and the Everglades and the Bahamas and the Keys are the most beautiful places on earth, and we're absolutely ravaging them and destroying them, you know, with development and construction and all that stuff. And so it was hard to shoot there because the red lights were real, and we couldn't shoot when the key deer were around. We had to be careful around the turtles, and no one wanted us disturbing the coastline. And there was iguanas everywhere in Miami, and we didn't want to disturb any of that, but it was worth it because we got to put it all on screen. It was really cool. And I love the people, you know, they're my people, my family's there.
Meredith, what is it about this show that you think that people is gonna love?
I think it captures a unique tone. I think that it gives you this mystery element, this noir element, and while simultaneously being darkly funny. And also Vince is sensational in it, as is the whole cast, but Vince is kind of giving me what I want to see Vince Vaughn do so much as a fan. So I would love to watch the show even if I wasn't in it, which makes me excited for people to see.
I was wondering if we can talk about the values of characters, because they're so different and they have all their reasons, and I bet that you think about this to prepare for this role maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Eve is a classic, you know, sociopath. So she's the kind of person who can do horrible, horrible things with the ease that someone buys a cup of coffee, which is really, really fun to play. A person doing the worst things in the world without any remorse. And she plays my stepdaughter, and I really hate her in the show.
But we do love each other in real life, very much so.
Carla, what can you tell us about Caitlin, and how is she? She's so mean. I mean, she's all like bitter inside.
Yeah, I think she's scorned. I think that Caitlin has been through a lot in her life, from childhood into early adulthood. I think the modeling world is really, really tough, and she got into heavy drugs, and you know, she has a very up and down, tumultuous relationship with her father and with herself and with religion. And I think that all these things have kind of toughened her up and made her a sad person more than a bitter person. But I feel like that translates into anger and brashness and can, you know, be mean. But I also do think that a woman's intuition, you know, is always frickin' right. So watch out, boys. We know what you're doing. But I think that
That's what crazy women
but I think that from the beginning, Caitlin kind of felt who Eve was and what she was doing to her father. So I feel like, you know, her gut was right there.
Qué Ver con MaVi Gangi.